I never believed in cursed places. I always thought haunted houses were just clever tourist traps, designed to make money off people who wanted to feel close to death without ever being in danger. But Ravenwood wasn't that. Ravenwood was a house that fed on you. And the thing is, it didn't care if you believed in it or not. I was 27 when I heard about it. A friend of mine, Tyler, told me it was the most terrifying house in America. He'd read about it online, deep in the weird forums where people share their experiences with haunted locations. Unlike other places that bragged about fake scares or actors in costumes, Ravenwood's stories always ended the same. People left different than they went in. Some left with scars they couldn't explain. Some didn't leave at all. At first I laughed. I'd been to haunted houses every Halloween and knew all the tricks. Fog machines, jump scares, distorted mirrors. It was all smoke and showmanship. But Tyler didn't laugh. He leaned across the bar table and whispered, "It's not a show, Nate. It's alive." The more I researched, the stranger it became. Ravenwood wasn't on any tourist map. It was outside a small, forgotten town in Ohio, hidden in a dense patch of forest that locals claimed had been cursed since the early 1900s. The original owner, a wealthy railroad magnate named Charles Whitford, had disappeared with his entire family one stormy night in 1912. Their bodies were never found. The house stood empty for decades, changing owners every few years, but no one stayed longer than a season. There were police reports of people wandering the woods around Ravenwood, scratched and confused, unable to explain why they went inside. And there were darker stories. People who vanished after stepping past the iron gates. Tyler convinced me we should go. "Just one night," he said. "We'll record everything. If it's real, we'll be legends." I should have said no. We arrived, the first thing that struck me was how wrong the forest felt. The trees leaned toward the road, branches skeletal, as if trying to warn us away. The house itself rose from the mist like something that hated the world. 3 stories of blackened wood, windows like staring eyes, the roof sagging like it was, exhausted from holding its own secrets. The gates were chained, but the lock was already broken. That detail should have made me walk away, but instead it made me think. Others came here before us. Inside, the air was wrong. Thick, heavy. It clung to your lungs like you weren't supposed to breathe it. Dust lay on every surface, but the high footprints in the hallway weren't ours. We explored room by room. Tyler filmed with his phone while I carried a flashlight. The house creaked like it was aware of us. I remember the wallpaper in the front parlor, peeling floral patterns, but underneath was something else. Symbols scratched into the plaster, circles, lines, something that looked like an eye. That was when we heard the first sound. Not a creak. Not the wind. A laugh. Faint. High-pitched. Like a child hiding just out of sight. I told myself it was a trick of the acoustics, but Tyler grinned nervously and said, "You heard it too." We pressed on, upstairs to the bedrooms. The first door we opened smelled of rot. The bed was perfectly made, but the sheets were soaked dark in the middle, as though someone had bled there decades ago, and it had never dried. My flashlight flickered, and died, though the batteries were new. That's when Tyler screamed. I spun and saw him staring at the mirror on the opposite wall. His reflection wasn't his. It was older. Gaunt, eyes hollow, a face drained of life. When he turned away, the reflection didn't follow. It stayed, smiling faintly at me, before fading into the glass like smoke. We should have run. God, we should have. But Ravenwood doesn't let you leave easily. Every door we tried downstairs was locked now, though we hadn't locked them. The windows looked out not onto the road, but onto endless woods, darker than they had been when we came in. Though deeper we went, the more the house seemed to breathe. The walls pulsed faintly, the air shifted like lungs filling, and the laughter followed us, sometimes behind us, sometimes ahead, once right between us. Tyler started to lose it. He said he saw faces in the wallpaper. He said the house was whispering his name. He pressed his palms to his ears and screamed at me to make it stop. I didn't hear his name. I heard mine. In the attic, we found the heart of it. A trunk, old and iron-bound, sitting in the center of the room. It wasn't covered in dust like the rest of the house. It was clean, waiting. We argued about opening it. Tyler said no. I said yes. In the end, the decision was made for us. The trunk opened itself with a groan, and inside were toys. A doll, missing its eyes. A wooden horse stained dark at the mouth. A stuffed bear with its throat slit open, and beneath them, a journal. The handwriting was spidery, frantic. Charles Whitford's words. He wrote that his children had brought something back from the woods. Something they called the Shadow Friend. It whispered to them at night, promised them games, and then it demanded blood. The last entry was just one sentence, repeated over and over until the ink tore the paper. The house wants more. That was when the attic door slammed shut. We were trapped. I don't remember everything clearly after that. The shadows moved against the light. Tyler's phone recorded screams that weren't ours. I remember running, the house folding in on itself, hallways stretching longer than they had been. I remember Tyler falling, his hand slipping from mine, his face vanishing into the dark. When I finally burst out the front door, it was dawn. I collapsed in the dirt outside the gates, gasping like I'd been drowning. Tyler never came out. His phone was found weeks later by a hiker, cracked, but still holding video. The last 30 seconds were him whispering into the camera, "Don't let the house know your name." I tried to tell the police. They searched the house, but they said it was empty. Just an abandoned property. No trunk, no journal, no Tyler. They said I must have gotten lost in the woods. But at night, when I close my eyes, I hear the laughter again. Faint, high-pitched, patient. And sometimes in the mirror, I see Tyler's reflection smiling back at me.